And thank you. Today is Thursday, November 16th, 2023. It is 3 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Mover, Councilor Tripp, second. Councilor Thompson, all in favor? Waiting for a video. Thank you. All in favor. We could please stand for O Canada. Those of you that are in your truck, you do not need to stand up. Thank you. Please be seated. As we gather here in chambers, we would like to acknowledge on behalf of council, our community, that we are meeting on unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We'd also like to thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Thank you, Miigwech. We'll move on to 2.1, approval of the agenda, resolution 275-23.
That the agenda of the council meeting of November 16th, 2023 be approved as presented.
Do we have a mover? Councilor Levesque, second by Councilor Popke. Thank you. And do we have all in favor? Thank you. Unanimous, so carried. Section 3.1, approval of minutes, resolution 276-23.
Be it resolved that the following minutes are approved by council. October 19th, 2023, regular council. October 30th, 2023, special council.
Do we have a mover? Councilor Thompson, Councilor Tripp for second. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Section 3.2, acceptance of minutes, resolution 27-23.
Be it resolved that the following minutes are accepted by council. October 4th, 2023, Madawaska Street Docks Committee. October 11th, 2023, Canada Day Committee. October 25th, 2023, Madawaska Street Docks Committee.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councilor Popke, second by Councilor Levesque. Discussion? Do we have any discussion on that today? No, just approval?
Yes, yes. For some reason my notes just disappeared.
Microphone?
Sorry. Couldn't see it there. I have a few questions. One is, once the licenses or whatever are done on the Madawaska docks, are we talking about the docks?
No, I'm just good. This is just the review of the minutes right now. Section 8.8 and 8.1 for the
committee.
docs.
Sorry.
That's when we'll discuss
Excuse
that. This is just the approval of the minutes at this time.
Thank you.
Okay. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. But we will get to you though, so that one. Okay. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? I'm seeing no indication. Thank you. We'll now move to section 5.1, bylaw 68-2023, seasonal maintenance of roads. Resolution?
That council approves bylaw 68-2023 seasonally maintained roads with the addition of Malva Hill Farm Road, the changes to McHugh Road, and the changes to Canelli Mountain Road as presented, and that council repeals bylaw 27-2021 seasonally maintained roads.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second. Councillor Levesque. A background, please. Steve?
Thank you. So the background is the seasonal roads. There are roads that are not included on the bylaw that we think that should be on there as a Public Works Department. McHugh Road, Malva Hill Farm Road, and Canelli Mountain Road. So McHugh Road alone, just since 2018, the previous Public Works manager recommended to council that McHugh Road be taken off the winter maintenance at that time, but there was a landowner saying that he was going to move into this property and live in here, so it was tabled and not. But since 2018, there's still not been any full-time residents in here, so we've been plowing this road since 2018 till now with no full-time residents. And as of today, there are no permanent residents in McHugh Road. The cost of winter maintenance was approximately $61,000, $450 from 2018 to 2022. This cost includes staff time, snow plowing, and the winter sand from McHugh Road. However, this does not include even fuel or damage that occur on the plowing equipment on this narrow lake road. Secondly, Malva Hill Farm Road. It is located off the top of Canelli Mountain at the Mount St. Patrick end of the township. There are no residents on Malva Hill Farm Road, which has been snow plowed for many years. The cost of the winter maintenance was approximately $19,475 since 2018 to 2022. This cost includes staff snow plowing, winter sand, and due to the location of the top of Canelli Mountain, at least 3, maybe 4 times a winter, we're having to take a machine up there and spend a full day trying to open this road for snow drifts that are, you can't open it with a regular tandem plow truck. And this does not include fuel as well. So that cost for Malva Hill Farm Road was from 2018 to 2022. But they've plowed this for many, many years the same way with no landowners in here even before 2018. Canelli Mountain Road, it's around 7-8 years ago, there was a property owner decided to move in there. And they came to council, and council decided at the time to start snow plowing that section. There's 2 kilometers from Centennial Lake Road in the backside of Canelli. And we started plowing that. This is not normal practice because I don't know what the intent was and why the township took that road back over plowing it, because any building permits issued in there were all seasonal, for seasonal dwelling, hunt camps, that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, they took the road over, and unfortunately the person has passed away now and no longer lives in there. And we plowed it last winter, and we noticed that none of the properties were plowed out. So there's nobody in this road either at this time. And the maintenance was around $3,800 from 2018 to 2020 in the staff time, snow plowing, winter sand. I guess that's it.
Okay, questions, concerns from council?
Are we just talking about the roads at this point? Or are we talking about the sidewalks as well?
No, we're talking about the specifics of this bylaw.
So that's the roads, but it hasn't,
For these 3 roads.
just for these 3? Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. Councillor Tripp.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a comment. It's just not a question, but I was really quite pleased when I read the report. It showed really good initiative on you and your team to identify this as a cost saving and bring it forward. I think it's a very good sign of how we're starting to work and how we're starting to think of where we're going. So I just wanted to congratulate you and your team for bringing this forward to us.
Thank you. Yeah, the thing I look at the most is these trucks are spending these, an hour, an extra 2 hours at the end of the day trying to get these roads done when they could be running back out to a main artery road and giving it another check and sanding and spending the time more wisely than doing this for really no reason, is what I look at.
Well done.
Thank you. Any questions, Councillor Popke? Councillor Popke, go ahead.
I just want to say that I know these 3 roads pretty good, and I agree with Steve. It's a complete waste of resources and employees' time trying to keep these open for the sake of nobody using them. And I think it's really going to be a benefit to shut them down.
Thank you. Councillor Levesque, any questions, comments, concerns?
Just one question for Steve. Thank you, Steve, for this. It's good work, as Rob mentioned. So I assume the next step is to notify the property owners that this will no longer be plowed, and then if they need to have it, then they'll have to justify the reason they want it open?
Yeah, like we wouldn't, we would send letters out giving them a date when we were going to stop plowing, and we'd have to give them some time on that. We're not just going to do it like tomorrow. So, but if there's no full-time residents on it, there'd be no reason to plow it. And that's really what the rule of thumb was. If there was a full-time residence, that's the only reason we would plow it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? No? All in favor? That is unanimous. So carried. We now move on to 6, Planning and Building Department, 6.1, Telecommunications Tower, Site C8498, Highway 41 and Dorley Creek Road, Resolution 279-23.
That council direct the CAO to provide a statement of concurrence based on the proposal provided by Rogers Communications Canada, Inc., regarding the installation of a telecommunication tower facility on Eorn site C8498, Highway 41 and Dorley Creek Road, which is compliant with the requirements of ISED Canada's default protocol CPC-2-0-03.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second. Councillor Levesque, background, please.
As council was briefed a few months ago, this is the last tower to be approved as per the Eorn project. So there was 6 towers to be completed. This would be the first time that we've actually proceeded without utilizing CRINs, but proceeding with internally and following the ISED Canada default protocol and Rogers Communications. So Rogers has, they're on the call today. If there's any questions, they provided the public notification package to the property owners. There was 2 property owners contacted. Within that, both have expressed support for the towers. So at this time, what we're looking for is for approval to proceed and provide a statement of concurrence. This would complete this stage of all of the 6 towers, and then they're all heading into construction phase.
Thank you. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Thompson?
I'm just curious if the process went smoothly compared to the process before.
So personally speaking, this would be the first time I've went through the process of completing a tower since I've been in this position. The process is more streamlined. There's no waiting on another body, I guess, to move the application forward. With that said, Rogers Communications may have more experience with proceeding with these towers. We still have the agreement with CRINS. So as other towers, depending on the application that's coming forward, there may be an opportunity to either streamline this way or move towards CRINS if required.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? There's none seen. All in favor? Oh, sorry, Councillor Popke, sorry.
I was just going to ask, where's the rough location of it? Right at the very corner of the Dooley Creek and the 41 highway? Or are they planning on moving a little further down?
Eric, can you provide more of the location of the tower?
And Eric, if you could just introduce yourself too while you're speaking, thank you.
Certainly, Eric Township, Site Acquisition Specialist under contract to Rogers Communications. Through you, Mr. Mayor, the location is at Lambert Road on the south side of 41.
Thank you. Does that clear that up, Councillor Popke?
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns at this time from council? None seen. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Eric. We move on to 6.2, 2023 Calabogie Motorsport Park noise complaint. This is an information item only. I believe our CAO is going to be speaking to this.
Yeah, so this is a report that we come to council annually. It's part of a bylaw that was developed when the Calabogie Motorsport Park came into play. So it's a way to inform on complaints. At the time, there would have been more complaints, and they've diminished. You could see here, the general planner has highlighted that in 2022 and 2021, there were 2 complaints received each year. This year, we recently received 1 complaint, and the complaint was more related to regular practice, not special events. There was just noise from the racetrack, seemed louder than normal. Otherwise, we've received no complaints.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? None. Thank you. This was an information item. We do not need to vote on that. We move to section 7, Finance and Administration Department, 7.1. Canoe Procurement Group of Canada Cooperative Group Purchasing Resolution 280-23.
That council directs staff to join the Canoe Procurement Group of Canada as a member to take advantage of public sector group purchasing opportunities.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second. Councillor Levesque, background, please.
Good afternoon. So the Canoe Procurement Group of Canada is a group purchasing organization. Basically, they go to tender on behalf of organizations to establish a competitive pricing for a defined period of time. It's completely up to the municipality on whether they want to take advantage of the contract, and we are not obligated to do so. If a municipality feels that they would obtain a more competitive market through their own tendering process, the municipality still has the right to do so. This just opens a window of opportunity to join in on some group pricing and also obtain another quote on our own to see where we can get the better value. The benefits of using Canoe are that it saves a competitive bid process for suppliers, saves time of doing your own RFP. It's fully compliant with trade agreements. You can continue to work with local retailers for service and support. So even though you are purchasing through a group purchasing program, they have local distributors. Like if you're buying a loader or something, you can still go to your local brand dealership or supplier, sorry. Yep. To obtain, so the local industry can still benefit from the program as well. Joining it provides another avenue to obtain these competitive pricing. I think that's about it. our current procurement bylaw allows for cooperative purchasing already. There is a clause in there that allows us to reach out. We just wanted to bring forward. There is no membership fee to join the program. It's free of charge. It's just you have to join as a member and have your own unique ID to be able to participate in the program.
Thank you. So any questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Levesque?
Thank you, Jennifer. Just one quick question. So you said there's no cost to join the membership, but if you use it, is there any cost per use?
No, there's no cost per use whatsoever.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concern from council? None seen. I'd like to thank you, Jennifer. I think it creates an economy of scale for us, allows us to tender out through Canoe for pricing, and allows us also to do our own independent tendering. So I think it's a win-win situation for the township. So I thank you for bringing that to our attention. Do any other questions, concerns? Okay, all in favor? Thank you. That is unanimous, so carried. Moving on to 7.2, Joint Initiative Asset Management Coordination, Resolution 281-23.
That council pre-approve a 2024 budget of $25,000 for a joint initiative with Whitewater Region, Bonnechere Valley, and MS and Bromley to recruit an asset management coordinator.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second. Councillor Popke. Background, please.
So the intent of this initiative is to work jointly with 3 other neighboring municipalities to bring in a position that specializes and will focus on asset management. So, we've identified there's a gap in the upwards of 1.5 million in infrastructure replacement. And then there's requirements for 2024 to meet, which we've partially met in 2025. So the intent of this position is to focus on ensuring that all our assets are captured. And then ongoing, the hope is that this position can provide some annual review, maintenance, increase the coverage of assets, including the asset management plan. So over time we've had, we do it internally. We have staff that review their current assets, in the treasurer that completes the review of the plan. This will add this additional service. And the benefit here is having procuring that specialty without needing to procure, or hiring a specialized position without needing to uptake the whole position at the township level here. Over time, I believe there'll be an opportunity for this position to impact the increase in grant funding. We have grant funding that is completely related to asset management. Our gas tax fund, our OCIF, is another funding that is basically based off your asset management plan and replacement costs. If you're missing items, you're losing grant funding available. So the position may pay for itself based off of funding requirements.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Thompson.
I think this is great. As you know, I'm kind of an asset management plan nerd. When we set up the position, will we assuming we do get this passed and then set it up, will there be a consensus of what assets this manager will manage?
Yeah, so the intent here across the municipalities is we all have a different focus. Some of them are just building their asset management plan, while we would be focusing more on the requirement for, currently the bigger piece of the gap initially would be, I mentioned before, the gravel. Gravel is not included in our asset management plan in detail that we would like. So there would be a focus, and over time, this initiative, this position we would be assigning different tasks based off our needs.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Levesque.
Thank you, Renee. I think this is a great initiative. Question, does this position expire at the end of the fiscal?
This position will be a full-time permanent position. The intent is for the project currently it's being led through Whitewater Region. The intent is for that position to be posted through there. So for us, and I'm assuming you're requesting because of this review annually. So I wrote in the report that we would review annually based off of needs, but the position is actually a full-time permanent.
Okay, so in terms of setting goals and objectives, who is the person who's going to measure it? Is that up to us or the
Yes, yes. Yeah, it'll be jointly managed. So we would have expectations based off the time allotted to us, and then the other municipalities would base of what their needs are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? There's none seen. I think this is a great initiative. Oh, Councillor Popke. Sorry, my apologies. We're on time delay.
That's
Go ahead,
okay.
Councillor Popke.
I was just wondering, since it's going to be shared between the 4 municipalities, is it going to be, or the position shared equally among the 4 of us, or is one going to take more precedence than the other?
It's going to be workload basis. So we have, and you can see it's a maximum of 25,000. This is assuming salary and benefits for a position. The intent right now is for it to be split equally. We have recognized that this may shift across needs of municipalities. The annual review will include that piece of seeing what are our needs in comparison to the other municipalities. So the intent is to be a quarter, depending on the need that could shift.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? And I just want to say I'm wholeheartedly in favor of this. I think it's something that's greatly needed, in the fact that we can share the position with 3 other townships that are 3 very strong townships as well. I'm in great favor of that. So I thank you for bringing this to us. And if there's no other questions, comments, or concerns, I'd ask, are we all in favor? That is unanimous. It is so carried. Thank you. Moving on to Section 8, Committees. 8.1, Madawaska Street Dock Committee, Final Report. Community Representative is Chris Fleming. Our Chair, Sherry Cameron, was unable to make it tonight, so she asked Chris Fleming to represent. May I ask for the resolution 282-23 to be read? Thank you.
That council accept the Madawaska Street Docks Committee final report as presented, and that council deems the Madawaska Street Docks Committee concluded as per the committee terms of reference.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second, Councillor Levesque. Background, please. Mr. Fleming.
Thank you, Mayor Weir and members of council and staff. On behalf of Sherry Cameron, our chair, I'd like to read the recommendations presented to council. That council accept the Madawaska Street Docks Committee final report as presented, and that council deems the Madawaska Street Docks Committee concluded as per the committee terms of reference. The background: the mandate of the Madawaska Street Docks Committee is to make a recommendation to council regarding the use of private docks on Madawaska Street, which is township-owned land, and if private docks will be allowed, what rules and regulations will apply. The discussion took place over several meetings, and the committee met to openly discuss the pros and cons of allowing or not allowing private docks on Madawaska Street. A recorded vote took place, and it was determined that the committee would support the continued use of private docks on Madawaska Street with conditions. The conditions were then decided upon and brought to a vote, which are now being presented to council and are as follows. That council will allow Madawaska Street property owners that front onto Madawaska Street to have a private dock. and that an application or permit process will be put into place to regulate and enforce regulations, and that this permission remains in effect until a plan is approved by council for the Madawaska Street waterfront township property, and that proof of liability insurance is required to be provided to the township by dock owners, including proof of coverage extending to include their dock on township property, and that all dock maintenance, installation, and removal are the responsibility of the dock owner, and the removable portion of docks and structures are not to remain on the township property during the winter season, and that the docks and dock access land must be maintained and kept up to safety standards and free of obstacles as outlined in the Property Standards Bylaw 75-2020 or subsequent township property standard bylaws. And that council directs staff to issue usage letters outlining dock owner requirements to all dock owners, including a compliance deadline. Township and people consulted in this matter were MPAC, who presented to the committee, Township Solicitor, as per Township staff requirements, various Madawaska Street and others in the vicinity, property owners, and also financial implications were non-existent. There are no financial implications to accepting this report and concluding the committee, which has done its due diligence. And this is respectfully submitted by Chair Sherry Cameron, and we thank you for your time and understanding here.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming. Any questions, concerns from council? Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. This is great. It's really a lot of progress. And remember how anxious people were on both sides during that thing. And I think this is a good idea. I do have some questions. Will there be something in what the township is going to work on for this to say that the township owns the waterfront and this doesn't signify us saying we don't care about it? You know, who wants to answer? Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Fleming.
The topic did come up on several meetings, if not all of the meetings, where it was heavily pointed that the township owns the property. A survey was produced illustrating that township owns the lands, with the exception of one or two owners along there, but that was all verified with township staff and confirmed. The document reads very clearly that it's on township-owned lands.
Thank you. Supplemental or? Nope. Good.
I have other questions.
Well, we'll go to Councillor Tripp then.
Thank you. And thank you to the committee. This is, I know it was a lot of work over the year and a complicated file, and I'm pleased that we've landed at this point with it. Impact came and presented to the committee, and can you just give a high-level review of Impact's position on this? Okay. And I believe at the time, I don't know the details, but it was around the waterfront designation.
Yes, Impact did come up on the statement of waterfront taxation, water frontage with respect to the adjacent property owners. Impact made a complete presentation and had answered all the questions that were requested of them by the committee, and that report sits with council now and is part of the minutes from the committee.
Thank you. Councillor Thompson.
Yes, thank you. Will the public be able to use those docks to tie up or swim from if it's on public land, but they're privately owned?
I may step in for that.
Okay,
I don't think that that's a question that Mr. Fleming can answer from
Okay.
from the committee level. And I think if we look at this recommendation today, this is a recommendation, the wording that to go to staff to review and bring back to us with the proper wordings through our solicitors as well. So that is a question that could be directed to staff for our final documentation. The wording we have before us today will not be exactly what we see in the final documentation. We're going to be asking staff to take a look at this, review it, and give us the best solution. So what we see in front of us today is the recommendation from the committee. This is going to go back to staff, and then staff will bring it back to us. So don't get caught in the minutia today about the actual wordings. It will change.
Agreement in principle.
Yes, it's agreement in principle to give it to staff to bring it back to us. So there may be word changes and there may be some stuff that stays the same, but it will be brought back to us for us to review. But right now, let's not get caught in the minutia, and let's put it on our capable and professional staff to bring it back to us with the proper documentation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, thank you. All right, if there are no further questions, I'm just going to take a look at the screen here because sometimes we get a little bit of delay. Nothing. Okay, all in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Fleming. We move on to section 9 now. This is 9.1, this mayor's comments. There's a couple things I'd just like to talk about today. Bring something up here. First of all, Steve Inwood, I'd like to thank you for sticking around, because I'd like to bring it to the attention of council and all of our community, the fine work that Steve has done. I have a letter in front of me. Dear Mayor and council members, on behalf of the Association of Road Supervisors, I would like to congratulate your employee, Steve Inwood, for his recent certified road supervisor certification. And thank you for supporting your employee. The Association of Ontario Road Supervisors has been providing service, serving the public for professionals since 1961. In 1996 was granted by the provincial legislation exclusive right to use the designation of certified road supervisor. The 4 levels, associate supervisor, CRS, intermittent, and senior, have been mandatory experience and education criteria set out by the AOR's Education Community Certification Board. Certified individuals may publicize their credentials by using the initials after their name. Certification is important for your municipality because it always increases the corporate professionalism, accountability, and morale. Certified road supervisors use their broad base of knowledge to make confident decisions and therefore serve the council. This is something that Steve has been working on for quite a while. He's had to attend the University of Guelph for courses and exams, and this is not something that is done in a 4-year period. This is something that has to have a commitment of almost 10 years to achieve, and Steve has achieved that. And I'm extremely proud to thank Steve for attaining that. Now, on another note, I'd like to bring to attention, I'm sure council and most of the township of Greater Madawaska is aware of the passing of our former councillor, Lucy Perrier. It's always difficult to say goodbye to somebody you love and cherish. Family and friends say goodbye to Lucy. She passed away at age 66 on November 9th after a lengthy battle with cancer. Those of you that knew Lucy, I'm sorry, this is very difficult. Those of you that knew Lucy, she had a passion for life. She had an opinion about life, and she was not afraid to express it to you. She had a great sense of humor, but her undying will to serve people, whether that be from her time in the military or on council or on the library. was extremely important to her. She was a powerhouse, and she will not be forgotten. There is a reception to be held on Tuesday, November 28th, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., a celebration of life at 419 Saint Laurent Boulevard in Ottawa. My last talk with Lucy, she said, it's not a celebration of life, it's an after party. And I thought that was so appropriate of Lucy. So I just want to send out my condolences to all her family, friends, and we thank her for her time and the love that she gave everybody. À la prochaine, mon ami. Thank you. We will now move on to section 10, bylaws. 10.1, bylaws approval. 68-2023, seasonal maintenance roads, and 69-2023, confirmatory. Resolution?
And be it resolved that the following bylaws, 68-2023 seasonally maintained roads, be deemed read a second and final time and passed by council. And furthermore, that 69-2023 confirmatory be deemed read a first, second, and final time and passed by council at the regular council meeting held November 16th, 2023.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Popke. All in favor? Oh, sorry.
I have a question. Part of the road, seasonally maintained roads bylaw shows an existing bylaw not to clear sidewalks in Calabogie as part of the list, and we didn't have a chance to discuss it, so what I'd like to do is discuss it at a different date.
Okay, let me just pull that bylaw back up.
In the end, there was a list of roads, and then there's no mention of sidewalks other than the ones that they're not going to be plowed. It's right at the bottom of the list.
So the intent, so the bylaw, which includes sidewalks, is intended under the road maintenance is considered municipal highways, road allowances, and sidewalks. The sidewalks have been on the bylaw, so they're not in addition to today in the council meeting. There has been questions regarding the sidewalks being included as seasonally maintained. So the question is more around if council wishes to have this looked at and considered for a future time, you could direct so. So I'll leave that open for conversation.
So would you like staff to direct staff to review that portion of the bylaw and bring
Yes.
it back to us?
Yes, please.
I would support that as well.
So Robin, would you be looking for a resolution? I feel, so in this case,
Staff
feel,
direction.
yeah, so, and it's not a concern, so we'll bring it at a future meeting, okay?
Thank you. Prior to, sorry, we still have to vote on this. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. We will now move on to Councillor Thompson's favorite subject, Section 11, adjournment. 11.1, motion to adjourn, resolution 284-23, please. Please keep your hand down till it's...
That the regular council meeting of November 16th, 2023 be adjourned at 3:43 p.m.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson. Second? Councillor Levesque. All in favor to adjourn? That is unanimous, and I thank you all, and I thank the public for watching today. Thank you.